Great group. On quick notice, we didn't bring any so-called stars along. We didn't need them. You know, the reason Hillary has to do that is nobody comes for her deal. She can't fill a room. We can get stars. We don't need them because we just want to make America great again, and we know what to do. Right? We don't need that. That's almost like a form of cheating, right? That's like when she got the questions from Donna Brazile to the debate, right? And she didn't report it. She went into the debate. Isn't it amazing, by the way? That took place, and not one of the dishonest, crooked media mentioned that. Nobody mentions it. Nobody mentions it. They go after Donna Brazile. Who cares? But nobody says, wait a minute, she got the questions. She went into the debate. Nobody says anything. Why didn't she report it to ethics or to somebody? You know why? Because she is crooked Hillary. That's why, folks. In 3 days, we are going to win the great state of Nevada, and we are going to win back the White House. We need you all to go and vote on Tuesday and bring your friends and family to those polls. We're going to have a big, big victory. They didn't get the kind of vote that they needed to stop us on Tuesday. You know what that means, right? They didn't get the numbers they were looking for. You're going to have a big, big day. Tuesday is our day in this state, so Tuesday. So you got to get out there. We'll never have this opportunity again. Not going to happen again. Reno and northern Nevada can carry this state and can carry us all the way to Washington and the White House. This will be our last chance. But don't let crazy, broken Harry Reid and his corrupt political machine decide this election for you. Crazy Harry. Remember he said 4 years ago that he found out with surety that Romney didn't pay tax and called him all sorts of names, remember? And then it turned out he did pay tax, but the election was over. And they said, but you lied. He said, we won, didn't we? Now, you know, now he's right about that. But that's a political hack. For instance, it's being reported that certain key Democratic polling locations in Clark County were kept open for hours and hours beyond closing time to bus and bring Democratic voters in. Folks, it's a rigged system. It's a rigged system, and we're going to beat it. We're going to beat it. I've been saying it's a rigged system. Obama, who does nothing but campaign for Hillary because she can't campaign for herself, he's out there, and he said, Donald Trump is hurting the foundations of our country by talking about rigging the election. Excuse me, 8 years ago, he was talking about Chicago and how they rigged the votes, okay? This guy, you know what I say to President Obama? Give me a break. Phony. And it's up to the great people of Washoe County to get it done. Get it done. You got to get it done. You are the people. You're going to get it done. And don't forget, in this state, I've spent hundreds of millions of dollars building things. We have great success in the state. I have great, great employees. So I feel I have an awfully big stake. I'm here all the time. I love it. But to do that and to win, you have to get every single person that you know to the polls with you. You have to vote with your heart, and I know you're going to do that. You have to vote with your soul to make America great again. Have to. Real change means restoring honesty to our government. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Boy, a lot of spirit in this room, huh? A lot of spirit. A lot of spirit. Place is great. The people here are great. The people in this state, from day one, first time I came here many years ago, the people in this state are amazing. So, right. State's going to have a very big impact on the outcome of our country. Forget the election. On the outcome of our country. Because if we win on Tuesday, our country is going to start winning again. We're going to start winning again. We don't win anymore. As you know, the FBI has reopened its criminal investigation into Hillary Clinton following the discovery of another 650,000 emails, probably including the 33,000 emails that Hillary destroyed after receiving a congressional subpoena. They are also Folks, she shouldn't be allowed to run. Okay, she shouldn't. And I'm not talking about what happened last Friday. I'm talking about right now. She shouldn't be allowed to run. When you look at General Cartwright, 4-star general, for doing almost nothing by comparison, could serve 5 years in jail. That happened 2 weeks ago. General Petraeus destroyed their lives for doing nothing by comparison. How about the young man took pictures of his submarine? He wanted to have some pictures. The submarine's not like it's a brand new submarine. It's many years old. They put him in jail for a year. And she does all of these different things. They're also conducting a second criminal investigation into Hillary's illegal pay-for-play corruption at the State Department. There's virtually no doubt that FBI Director Comey and the great, great special agents of the FBI will be able to collect more than enough evidence to garner indictments against Hillary Clinton and her inner circle, despite her efforts to disparage them and to discredit them. If she were to win this election, it would create an unprecedented constitutional crisis. In that situation, we could very well have a sitting president under felony indictment and ultimately a criminal trial. It would grind government to a halt. Of course, that's what we have right now under Obama anyway. We need a government that can work, and work well from day one for the American people. That will be impossible with Hillary Clinton, the prime suspect in a massive, far-reaching criminal investigation. Her current scandals and controversies will continue throughout her presidency and will make it virtually impossible for her to govern or lead our country. Now, I don't think it's going to matter because she's not going to win, but let's Let's go through the scenario. By the way, does anybody speak better about this subject than our legendary mayor, Rudy Giuliani? Does anybody? Huh? He's the greatest. Come here. Special guy. New York was crime infested, filthy, dirty, problems all over the place. Rudy came in, he straightened it out. Straightened it out. Thank you, Rudy, for everything. If she ever got into the Oval Office, Hillary and her special interests would rob our country blind. You see what's going on? At the heart of this election is one simple question. Will our country be governed by the people or by the corrupt political class? If we win, the corrupt politicians and their special interests will lose. If they win, the American people will lose. It's just that simple. The political elites in this country have used their power to enrich themselves at your expense. They've run the government for their benefit, and they've profited from your pain. You see what's happening. And by the way, folks, you're highly sophisticated. I always say I have the smartest people. Smartest. The smartest. And I have the most loyal people by far. And that's borne out in every poll they take. In fact, they're very worried. You know, with all the polls that are happening, we're winning all over the place. We're winning in Iowa. Just came out, we're 7 points up. We're winning in Ohio. We're winning in New Hampshire. We're winning in North Carolina. I think we're going to win the great state of Pennsylvania. Based on turnout, I think we're going to win Florida. And you know where else we're going to win? Right here. So this is the choice on Tuesday. Either we will have a government run by the donors and the special interests who control everything and control crooked Hillary Clinton, or we will have a government run by you, the American people. That's what we're doing. There has never been a movement like this in the history of the United States. And you know, I couldn't say that if it weren't true, because these very, very dishonest reporters back there in the media, they would call us out for that. There's never been a movement like this. Never been the crowds, which they never show, by the way. They never show. This was set up so recently, and look at all the people. There's never been the crowds. There's never been the enthusiasm. And there's never been the loyalty that we have. Never been in this country. And someday they'll start reporting it correctly, but I almost think it doesn't matter because we get it. We get it. Total dishonesty. And while they're there, show the camera, show the crowds, fellas. Go ahead, show the crowd. Show the crowd. Go ahead, show the crowd. Spread those cameras. They never like to do it. The only time they do it is where there's a protester, because that's a negative thing. It turned out that the protesters we used to have were bought for $1,500 apiece, and they were told to go in and incite riots. And they cover the protesters. But last night, Obama had a protester. And nobody would listen to him. He kept saying the same thing over and over. Nasty. Over and over and over. But they never showed the protester with him, because that's a negative thing. They just kept it on him. But it was a pretty bad scene, let me tell you, the way he acted. If you want a government that will secure your borders, stop the massive inflow of refugees, lower your taxes, bring back your jobs, grow your economy, and protect your family always, vote for Donald J. Trump. Tuesday, that's going to be a big day. Thank you, everybody. What a crowd. What people. What people. Greatest people in the world, I'll tell you, folks. This country, all over, no matter where we go, no matter where we go. We were in Hershey, Pennsylvania the other night. Unbelievable. We did numerous all over North Carolina. Unbelievable. No matter where we go. Florida, Texas. Remember last week they were reporting, Texas is in play. Texas. Texas is in play. You know, like that was bad because we're supposed to win Texas, he said. I said, I'm surprised Texas is in play because I was there. We have these massive crowds. Actually, Rudy was there. We had a line that must have been 2 miles long getting in. And that's because the place was full. Those were the people that didn't get in. And so I said, I'm surprised. 2 weeks ago it started. Texas is in play. Unfortunately, that turned out to be a lie also, the media. Maybe they meant Texas is in play for Trump, I guess, because the great state of Texas. So a man calls up, good guy, Sid Miller, calls up one of the shows. Said, yeah, I've been hearing for 3-4 weeks Texas is in play. Well, we have the longest lines I've ever seen. And most of those people have Trump on their shirt. And they have Trump buttons and Trump hats. And to the best of my knowledge, they will not be voting for Hillary Clinton. So as soon as the media looked at this record-setting vote, they took Texas is in play out of their vocabulary. These are really dishonest people. My contract with the American voter begins with a plan to end government corruption and take your country back from the special interest. And I used to be on the other side until June 16th of last year. I went from being an insider, boy, did I become an outsider fast. Well, that was the quickest outsider. But you know what? I love this country. I saw what was happening. It was going bad. We were really going bad. You look at the Iran deal, like $150 billion. Look at a deal where we give these guys, the #1 terror nation, we give them $1.7 billion in cash. For our hostages, which was a lie when he said it wasn't for hostages. Remember, it was supposed to be $400 million. Think of this, $400 million in cash. But that turned out to be wrong. It was $1.7 billion. Do you know what $1.7 billion in cash? You could fill up that whole side of this big arena. I want the entire corrupt Washington establishment to hear the words of all of us. When we win on November 8th, we are going to drain the swamp. We're going to do it. We're going to bring in the right people. We're going to really turn things around. This is ridiculous what's going on. Real change also begins with immediately repealing and replacing Obamacare. You know, I shouldn't tell you this, you've probably seen it, but I always use your state as the example for the premiums going up. You know why? We think you have the highest in the country. I don't want to tell you that. I don't want to tell you that. But I always use your state. They're all going up through the roof, but you have the highest. You're going to experience a massive double-digit premium hike. The great state, right? The great state that you live in is going up numbers I will not tell you. In Arizona, I'll give you an example. They're going up 116%. 10 of Nevada's 16 counties will have only one Obamacare exchange insurer to choose from next year. Good luck with that negotiation. Good luck with that negotiation. Good luck. And your numbers are going to be really high, but I'm not going to depress you by I know what they are. I want you to be happy when you leave. But actually you will, because we're going to get rid of Obamacare anyway, so you're not going to have to pay. Don't bother paying. We're going to have great health care at much less cost, and it's going to be much better. What's going on with Obamacare is never had a chance to work. And I said it before they even submitted it for a vote. And then Obama started lying that you can keep your plan, you can keep your doctor, said it 28 different times. And in all fairness, even the Democrats that weren't going to vote for it got swayed by him. They wish they didn't do it now, I will tell you. Premiums are surging, companies are leaving, insurers are fleeing, doctors are quitting, and deductibles are through the roof. You have deductibles sometimes $15,000. Yet Hillary Clinton wants to double down on Obamacare, making it even more expensive. I'm asking for your vote so we can repeal and replace Obamacare and save health care for every family in Nevada and for every family in this country. At the core of my contract is my plan, so important, to bring back your jobs. America has lost 1/3 of its manufacturing jobs since NAFTA, a deal signed by Bill Clinton and supported by Hillary Clinton. America has lost 70,000 factories. Can you believe that number? I always thought it was a mistake. I've been saying that number now for 2 weeks. I can't believe it. 70,000. I always think maybe 700, maybe 7,000. 70,000 factories since China entered the World Trade Organization. Another Bill and Hillary-backed disaster. We are living through the greatest jobs theft in the history of the world. Nobody has ever stolen jobs like other countries have taken them from us. A Trump administration will stop the jobs from leaving America so easily. And we will stop the jobs from leaving Nevada. The theft of American prosperity will end, and it will end immediately. We will renegotiate NAFTA, and if we don't get the deal we want, we will terminate NAFTA and get a much better deal for our workers and our companies. We will also immediately stop the job-killing Trans-Pacific Partnership, which Hillary Clinton lied in the debate. By the way, did I win those debates, please? Thank you. She kept saying she's in debate prep. For weeks, she was in debate prep. I kept saying, you know, I felt guilty. I said, there must be something to this debate prep. She just didn't want to go out campaigning. It was a good excuse. I mean, when you're doing this, she's doing it for 30 years, right? More. I always say, you've been doing it for so long. You want to change the tax code? Why didn't you do it? You want to fight ISIS? Why didn't you do it? I mean, she created ISIS, really. Came out of the vacuum. Now ISIS is in 32 countries. She won't do anything with ISIS. But why don't you fix the things you want to fix? You talk about it. Why don't you do it? You want to bring back jobs? Bring back jobs. In New York State, she said she was going to bring back jobs. Upstate New York. It became a total disaster. Everyone left. You have to see it today. Greatest people, but you have to see what happened to upstate New York. As part of our plan to bring back jobs, we are going to lower taxes on American business from 35% to 15%. We are going to massively cut taxes for the middle class, the forgotten people. And we will rebuild our inner cities, which are absolutely a shame what's happened. And for the African American community and for the Latino community, remember this: the inner cities, so unfair. The Democrats have run them for over 100 years in many cases, unbroken. And every 4 years they come in and ask for your vote. We want your vote. And after you give them the vote and they win an election, they say, see you in 4 years. They don't do anything. The crime is horrible. You can't walk to a store and get a loaf of bread without being shot in many cases. You see what's happening. The crime is horrible. The education is practically non-existent. It's so bad. And jobs are gone. There are no jobs. And I say, we're going to fix the crime. We're going to fix the education. We're going to bring back jobs. We are going to rebuild the inner cities. And the African American, it's not even going to be hard. There is such potential. We have such incredible potential in our inner cities. We're going to fix our inner cities. And the African American community, the Latino community, you're going to be so thankful. You're going to love it. And I say to you, and I say this because the Democrats have let you down for decades and decades and decades. I say to you, what the hell do you have to lose, right? What do you have to lose? I will fix it. We're going to fix the inner cities. We're going to bring back jobs. We're going to make them safe. We're going to straighten out education. We will become a rich nation once again. But to be a rich nation, we must also be a safe nation. Hillary Clinton wants a 550% increase in Syrian refugees pouring into our country. Her plan will import generations of terrorism, extremism, and radicalism into your schools and into your communities. When I'm elected president, if you vote, otherwise it's not going to work out, you got to vote. We will suspend the Syrian refugee program, and we will keep radical Islamic terrorists the hell out of our country. We keep them out. Got no choice. We got no choice. Thank you. A Trump administration will also secure and defend the borders of the United States. And yes, we will build a wall. We will build a wall. It'll be a great wall. And it'll have big doors in it. And people will come through those doors, but they'll come through those doors legally. We want people to come in legally. And we'll stop the drugs from pouring into our nation and destroying our youth and poisoning so many people. So many people. We're going to stop the drugs from pouring in, believe me. As Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton allowed thousands of the most dangerous and violent criminal aliens to go free because their home countries, very intelligently, would not take them back. They didn't want murderers. They didn't want gang members. They didn't want drug lords. But I promise you this, when we bring them back to their countries, not once will they ever come back to us. I promise you, not once. Hillary supports totally open borders, there goes your country, and strongly supports sanctuary cities like San Francisco, where Kate Steinle was murdered by an illegal immigrant deported more than 5 times. Thousands of Americans would be alive today if not for the open border policies of Obama and Clinton. On Mother's Day in 2009, Carson City-born 17-year-old Rene Angulo was out driving looking for a job when he was shot in the head and brutally murdered by a previously deported illegal immigrant gang member, who everybody that knew this gang member said, please get him out of the country. Please put him in prison. He must be incarcerated. Rene was pulled from his vehicle and left to die on the side of a road. A good Samaritan who thought there had been a car accident stopped to help and was violently shot. The illegal immigrant killer had a previous conviction involving murder in Carson City, but was released and allowed to roam free and did further damage after that. Oh, there's story after story. We could go for days and days and days. There's story after story, one worse than the other. A Trump administration will end this nightmare of violence. We will protect American lives. We will cancel all federal funding to sanctuary cities. We will stop illegal immigration. And by the way, I have tremendous support within the Hispanic Latino community. Tremendous. Because they came here legally. They want to see borders. They have their jobs, which are great jobs. They have their homes. They want to keep their homes. They want to keep their jobs. They want other members of their families to come into our country, and they will come in. They will come into our country. We're going to have other members of your families come in. They'll go through a process. And it won't be a process like you have now, where people wait 10 and 12 years before they get in. We'll have a streamlined, beautiful process. It'll be efficient. It'll be efficient, not the way it is now. So we've had this tremendous outpouring of love from the Hispanic community. A certain radio station in New York said the owner of the station was on another show, and it's all Spanish, and he was being interviewed. And he said, you know, I don't know about this whole thing with Trump, because everybody that calls us, every single person is in favor of Trump. So we're going to have tremendous, I think we're going to have tremendous Hispanic, Latino support on Tuesday. Tremendous. I think it's going to be tremendous. We have one of those guys from the Hillary Clinton campaign. How much are you being paid? $1,500? All right, take him out. When we win the election on Tuesday, you will finally have a government on your side, fighting for your community and protecting your family. By the way, folks, while we're at it, great